If you're wondering how all these people online are achieving their hair goals and you still feel behind, don't worry because I'm going to break it all down to you. How I grew my hair from my ears, then to my waist, then to my tailbone, and eventually my hips. These methods and tips I'm sharing, I have been perfecting for over a decade, and everyone I recommend them to sees great results. So if you're ready to finally get answers on how to grow your natural hair, make sure you watch to the end to get each one of my tips that help me get my hair this long so you can reach your goals of long, thick, and healthy hair too. Without further ado, let's hop right into this video. Hi lovelies, I'm going to be going over these tips and methods while I install these starter locks. So my first tip is to treat your hair like a plant. I know this sounds funny, but I'm so serious. Hair is really like a plant. It needs water, nutrients, and to be left alone. What this looks like is making sure your hair is given water, the best moisturizer on a regular basis, being nourished, which I'm going to break down further in another point, but for now, think about the nutrients it needs to grow, like protein, vitamins E, B, and A, omega 3s and omega 6s, and more nutrients essential for healthy and thick hair growth. After you give your hair water and nourish it, the final step is to make sure it's not being picked, poked, and prodded all the time. Hair grows kinda slowly, only about zero point zero 0.03 to zero point zero 0.05 millimeters a day. So how can you honestly expect to see long-term hair growth if every week you're changing your hairstyle every few days and causing those few millimeters of growth to break off because you keep touching your hair? Figure out a way to style your hair in a way that makes you feel beautiful and expressive. Then understand what that style will cost your hair because every hairstyle has a cost. And make sure in your natural hair routine you're giving back to your hair what that style is taking away from it. This is the perfect segue to my second tip. When you want to do adventurous styles, know what it's going to cost your hair so it can be supplemented. Even if you're not doing adventurous styles and you're going to keep your hair natural, you still have to know what it's going to cost your hair so it can be replenished in your natural hair care routine. You can be a straight natural, have dye, wear wigs, wear box braids and Senegalese twists, and still reach your hair goals. I think what we miss is the fact that we have to give our hair what these styles are costing us. That's how we can grow our hair out and have fun all at the same time. So for example, if your hair is dyed, you know that it will make your hair drier and more brittle and weak. For the natural with dyed hair, this means you have to moisturize your hair way more often, give your hair protein treatments more often, and you may want to ease up on using other styling tools that can cause dry hair, like flat irons and blow dryers, because that can dry your hair out even more, cause even more hair to break off faster than it's growing, and keep you from achieving your hair goals. If you're a straight natural, this means you're going to be using a lot of heat, so before you go back to your appointment or straighten your hair yourself, you want to give yourself a deeply hydrating hair mask and put 3 to 6 weeks between you getting your hair re-straightened so you're not putting a bunch of strain on your hair. And the same goes for every style, even natural styles like wash and goes and bantu knot outs and twist outs. These styles cost. If I do these styles, I know my hair is going to get tangled very quickly. So I have to have a contingency plan on when that happens. Whatever you choose, know the cost so you can give your hair back what it needs in your natural hair routine and you can keep your hair growing long and healthy. My third tip is to identify DIY treatments you can do at home. I don't care what anyone has to say about DIYs. I simply would not be here without them. I think it's the direct contact of all the nutrients from the DIYs with our hair follicles that causes these results for me and everyone I recommend it to, because yes, every single person who I tell to use these recipes gets results once they start using them, okay? Now, everything doesn't work for everyone. Some people swear by banana, others swear by avocado, and still other people love amla, fenugreek. I encourage you to listen to your body, your intuition and identify what works best for you and your hair. But I highly recommend that you incorporate some kind of DIY recipe in your routine. Remember earlier when I said I would speak to nutrients later in the video? This is that point. Your DIY recipes that you incorporate into your natural hair routine is where those nutrients will come from and make the biggest difference in you reaching your hair goals or you not reaching your hair goals. My key is finding as many places as possible to fit in things that are natural from the earth into my natural hair care routine. I recommend using this protein treatment. It is one of my staples in my natural hair care routine that I use to grow my hair out. It has eggs, olive oil, honey, ACV, which is apple cider vinegar with the mother in it, and mayonnaise. And y'all, this stuff works wonders. Look at some of the comments people have left me under videos where I have told them to use this protein treatment. You know, testimonials do not lie. And on the topic, if you want a detailed monthly plan on what hair growth recipes I recommend using, grab my Growth Training 101 guide at the link in the comments and description box. This book is my growth plan I curated with all DIY recipes that help me unlock tailbone length hair and that help me reach 1 inch of hair growth in a month. I only recommend it to people who really want to lock in, be serious on their hair growth journey, and don't want to spend a whole bunch of time trying to figure out which DIY recipes could work best. That book is my list of what I think will get you those results. Again, everybody's body is different, but if you want to use exactly what I use, grab that. Plenty of people who have already started using my guide have started to see amazing results, including crying tears of joy because their hair is growing so much thicker, feeling like they haven't had hair growth like that since they were a child, and even growing hair back when doctors told them they couldn't. So if you want to skip the confusion and skip the stage of doing all the research, grab that because I did the work so you don't have to. Head to justforblackgirls.com/shop. It's on sale right now for Black History Month. So if you want to take advantage of that, head to justforblackgirls.com/shop and shop it now while it is on sale. My fourth tip is to reduce your stress and check your hormone levels. I used to take natural hair growth clients so they can work with me one-on-one to get a personalized hair growth plan, and a lot of what I saw was women struggling with their hormones. Y'all, stress literally impacts your hair growth hormones. It is true. Higher levels of stress can impact your thyroid, and your thyroid, when it is not functioning properly, can cause drier scalp, thinner hair growth, more breakage and shedding. It is true. So I beg you, especially as Black women, to check in with yourself and recognize how much stress you are taking on, and recognize not how to not be stressed, because stress is going to happen in our day-to-day lives. It's going to happen. But instead of swallowing it, bottling it up, and pretending like nothing is happening, what are some things that you can add to your day that will make you happy, that will counterbalance the things that you don't really want to be experiencing or that you have to go through out of circumstance? What joyful things can you add to your day that will counterbalance out the stress? That is literally going to not only help you with your hair growth, but add years to your life. Stress does take us out as Black women, and it is important that we get that under control. And finally, my last tip is to pick a routine that you can stick to. Some people have the energy to wash their hair once a week. Some people have the energy to do it once a month. And some people, like me, wash 3 to 4 times a year. Now, don't get me wrong. I have experimented with all three, and I had to come to the realization that my hair is simply too thick and too long to wash my hair once a week, detangle it once a week, and style it every single week. That was too much for me. And I had to understand that just because at the time everyone was washing their hair once a week, y'all remember when everybody wanted to wash their hair once a week, I went ahead and tried it. I thought that was going to be the thing for me, and it wasn't. So it is very important for you to decide for yourself what you are going to do, and then remain consistent in that thing. It is better to be consistent over a long period of time than do a whole lot of maintenance and work on your natural hair routine on in a short period of time. Just like back to the plant analogy, right? If you drench your plant with water every day for 1 week, then don't go months without watering it, you're going to kill that plant. So you have to find something that you can commit to. You have to be realistic with yourself, right? And for me, because the weeks go by way too fast, I decided to wash my hair 3 to 4 times a year to maintain my length. And when I'm wanting to grow my hair out, that is when I go ahead and wash my hair once a month. And my last tip is, if you have 4C hair like mine, keeping your hair moisturized and detangled is the key to long-term growth. I found that when I leave my hair out in a wash and go, twist out or braid out, or even a mini twist or braids for too long, my hair begins to lock up. And when it comes time to detangle it, when I'm combing my hair out, lumps and clumps of my hair comes out because I have to comb out the knots that are being created in my hair because I left my hair unmoisturized or undetangled for too long. Sometimes my hair is both unmoisturized and undetangled at the same time. Whoo, child. When I leave my hair unmoisturized and undetangled at the same time for too long, typically more than a week, that's when I know I'm in trouble. And to prevent that, when I know I want to wear my hair in a braid out or twist out for more than a week, I make sure to braid my hair back into the braids every night with a bit of additional moisture to sleep in overnight, and then I take them out again in the morning. And I keep repeating this process until I'm ready to put my hair into a more long-term style. I'm telling you, that is key, especially if you have kinkier hair like I do. And lovelies, this is the end of the video. If you made it this far, drop a pink heart and let me know what was your favorite tip. Is there anything that you haven't heard before? Is there anything that you keep hearing but you have yet to apply to your routine? Let me know in the comments. And if you have any more questions about how I grew my hair this long, do not hesitate to ask. I will love to be of assistance to you in any way, shape, fashion, or form. And again, if you want those DIY recipes that I recommend for extreme hair growth, head to justforblackgirls.com/shop and grab my growth training 101 guide. And if you want more info on how my lock journey is going, just subscribe, come back, because I will be doing updates along this journey. I love y'all. Thank y'all so much. God bless y'all and have a wonderful rest of y'all day and week.